And with that said, let me also open the chat. Okie doke. So if you have any questions as I'm going along, stick it in the chat and then I will see it and can react to it. Let me go over there. I'm using 4 screens when I do this, so it all works. And let's move forward. MoxiPresent, get presenting. Again, this was when Moxie was first introduced. This was like my fave thing right here, MoxiPresent, because I had used Toolkit CMA, I had used what the brand had offered, I had used RPR. I had a lot of combinations and I kind of melded them all together to make my own, but this one was a whole lot easier to use. And anything that makes me look good, I'm going to use it, even if it's face cream, right, Brenda? Of course, Brenda knows that chocolate chip cookies help my complexion too. So first thing I'm going to do, folks, is I am going to go to a disclaimer that simply says that you as a independent agent or independent contractor do not have to use anything that I'm about to share with you, but I'm hoping that I can convince you that it's worth your time and energy. And once you actually go through and create a template, while I'm going to teach you in February how you can over personalize it and do all kinds of great things in addition to what we're going to share today, the first 12 pages of the default seller does a bang up job and helps separate us from our competition, okay? And then when I teach you how to personalize it so that it also has your stuff, oh my goodness, you're just going to fall in love. I know you are. The next thing I'm going to talk about is permission to use the content. Again, images, folks. If you're a C21, you can go to Brand Studio and you can get all kinds of images, free, copyright, no issue. If you're with the CB brand, you can go to Brand Serve and get all kinds of images. Again, you don't have to use any of them, but they are there for your availability. If you're one to go out there into the world of Google and grab an image or two, absolutely. Hey, I'm guilty too, admit, okay? But I do encourage you to, if you look along the bar there, you'll see a little tab that says Tools. You click on Tools and then Pix Large. That gets rid of all the little pixelated ones and ensures you have a better. You can even do a copyright free or it's commercial free, yada, 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 if you want to be so selective. Again, so today I'm going to welcome you. Then I'm going to show you with the benefits of it. We're going to take a tour. And then, of course, what comes next? So, hey, welcome to MoxiPresent. This is a user-friendly CMA tool integrated with your local MLS. And I lost hair and I grew older as I tried to marry up all the various MLSs that we have across. You're fortunate. You may only be familiar with one, but just let you know, the company, we got a lot more than that. Secondly, the templates are going to help you create an interactive listing presentation. And this is the thing that I just absolutely love. And again, I know some people like Cloud CMA because they can do a lot of the things there. And, if you find something that works for you, do it. One of the reasons I like this above anything else I've used is inside of Moxie Engage in your activity feed, you know whether or not this person viewed it. Now, again, that's assuming that they're in your contacts, right? No, that's the beautiful part about it. If you actually send them a presentation, you haven't even put them into Engage yet, it still shows up in your activity feed. I mean, come on, that's awesome. You know it is. Data is pulled directly from the MLS. And the other nice thing about that, focus, is it updates every 15 minutes. So as you send that link out there and your client receives it, if something moves from being active to being pending, it's going to show. If something goes from pending to being sold, it's going to show. You're going to have current and accurate information. That's just awesome. Now, admittedly, if you print it off in a PDF, no, we haven't figured out the magic to update the PDFs yet, okay? Give me that one. And then, of course, it just simply says that you can share it by email or, you can do it by both too. Don't forget that. So I truly believe it is time saving because I can put together a CMA in just 3 to 5 minutes easily because I have my template the way I want it. So all I have to do is go and deal with the properties that I'm dealing with, and boom, 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 and I can walk right through it. Customizable. We're going to show you a couple of things today, how you can customize it, but February is going to be focused on truly actually using. Today, I'm not going to be going into MoxiPresent, okay? I'm going to give you slides to walk you through the process. But in February, it's going to be a hands-on type of a demonstration, okay? And then, of course, impressive. Yes, impress. I have yet to have a seller say, wow, that was one of the crappiest looking ones. In fact, what I love is when I go in and I'm not the first one to do the presentation, and I have it. Of course, I could walk in with my tablet, and they're like, "Really, I really liked your presentation that you emailed to me." Again, yes, you can always ask too. Did you get a chance to look at it? But they always point at what was left by the other agents. And I'm not saying that some of the other agents don't have some impressive notebooks and all that other stuff, but does it get read? I don't know. I walk away with the listing, so I'm going to say no. Benefits of MoxiPresent. Obviously, digital is the biggest, and the fact that they can see each and every image that's on that MLS for that particular property is an understatement. Just a minute. There we go. Something, and then, of course, it's as easy to print for old folks like me because I like paper. It just shows you that Republicans are going to keep asking for a lot of things, really? As the White House says they will continue to cooperate. I got that person again. All right. So
these cases that are under investigation while a special counsel is involved.
Yeah, I think it depends on your perspective, Chris.
I don't know who keeps doing that. I'll go slap their Patty here. I keep muting them and then they keep unmuting themselves. Really? All right, try this again. So get that over there where I can see it. There we go. So CMA comparables again, just like on the MLS, you can make it bigger, make it smaller. You can do all kinds of filtering. You can do all types of data fields, yada, yada, yada. I mean, literally, I'm not going to teach you how to do a CMA. See your manager or see your mentor, and they will help you with the actual creation of the CMA. In other words, how do you select what? So let's take a tour. All right. You know what? I'm just skipping that one because I'm just going to do it. First thing I do want to mention, though, is Dash, and I want to mention MoxiWorks both. It's important that your name, your phone number, your email address is correct in Dash. Okay. It is also, that etc. Your website needs to be accurate in Dash. If you want your social media links to be viable in MoxiPresent, it needs to be in Dash. All of that falls in under your admin. You have your bio. The bio that is a MoxiPresent under your agent profile also shows up on your website under my bio. So now it comes to MoxiWorks. MoxiWorks is going to pull a lot of information from Dash, but there's also on the website, there's a number of areas, in fact, 3 that you have to put in your title. You have to put in which brand you're working with and so on and so forth. And the reason why you're doing it in 3 different places is because some of it shows up on your website, some of it is over in Moxie Engage, and some of it shows up in MoxiPresent. So these 3 tools, these 4 tools, these 5 tools truly do work integratedly. If you don't know how to get to your Moxie tools from the C21 online, productivity hub, about 3/4 of the way down, you're going to see your tiles. Click on learn more, which will take you to another page, and you'll say access user. If you're on the CB side, you're going to go to your desk and you're going to click on MoxiWorks, and so moving on. So once you've created presentations, just a minute. There we go. Once you've created a presentation, they'll show up and they'll just keep feeding. Okay. Now the advantage of that is that you can always share a presentation that you create. And this is part of what I'm going to show you next month, but you can actually share a presentation on your Facebook page or your Twitter or LinkedIn. I don't know if you knew that. You can actually text the link too. But that little pencil up at the top is the edit button. And what that simply means is it's going to go, when you click on edit, it's going to allow you to go and continue on or to make changes to your presentation. Because if you were started into a presentation, you were in the process of collecting data and everything else, then you got on the phone, and by the time you got off the phone, you had to leave. The great thing is everything you did was saved. You didn't have to hit a save button or anything else because it's just automatically done for you. Details is going to be the details. In other words, when did you put this together? What is it pertinent to and such? In the action menu, I'm going to show you what that looks like here in just a moment. And then, of course, if you just click on the image, it's going to open it in web presentation mode. So if, again, you're sitting out there in Mr. and Mrs. Seller's driveway, I don't care if it's on your computer, your laptop, or even your phone, because it fits every single screen. That's what's so beautiful about this. You don't have to sit there and dial out and all this other stuff. It'll just automatically work. And of course, they got an 80-inch screen. Throw it up there. Power. As Tim Taylor would say, more power. Yeah, there we go. Anyways, here is what the action menu looks like. View, share, email settings, duplicate. In other words, you really like the way you put this together. Yeah, you can either save it as a template, so you can select it, and/or you can just duplicate it. And of course, if you duplicate it or save it as a template, remember that all of your pages will be there in the order that you put them, but you have to go back and you have to change all the property information in addition to the comparables that you selected. Your call. Archive, in other words, you don't want to see it anymore. It doesn't actually go away. It gets saved out there on some server. Quick Flyer will actually give you multiple choices of creating a quick flyer. I personally use the flyer for laying on the kitchen table for buyers. And then, of course, you can assign it to somebody and all that other good stuff. Or if you're part of a team, you can go ahead and add your team member. So the demo seller presentation, everybody has a default presentation when they come into Moxie, unless you deleted it. And if you deleted it, sorry about that, but it's gone. Not sure how you get it back without having to create another one, but that's okay, because that's life. Anyways, we're going to get in here and we're going to start to create. And of course, if you click on it and to begin the process, this is what it looks like. Because right now, if you're a Century 21, it's syncing with the MLS. And if you're with CB, it's not as pretty, but there it is. It's syncing with the MLS. This is what the cover page looks like. Look at that image. And I'm not talking about the smiling guy. I'm talking about the house that came from the MLS. Unless, of course, you did a drive-by, but you can grab it right from the MLS. Now, I'm going to point out something here, because San Francisco, California, you see California is all in caps, okay? Which is the way it's supposed to be, right? Hey, wait for it. And then here's the second page by default, unless you change the order of the pages, is going to be all about the property. Now, notice that 524 Cedar Avenue, San Francisco, and all of a sudden California got uncapitalized. If you're going to send anything out to your clients, please, 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 please take the time to at least review what you did. You want to be professional, right? You know that CA is, or MI for us, is supposed to be capitalized. Don't send something out that you're not going to be proud of. Don't send something out and say, because again, if you send it out by email and you didn't include the PDF, guess what? You can correct it, like you're reviewing it right now, and you could correct it. It updates that link that went to your client. How cool is that? If you wanted to add more pages, it'll update your client as well. Okay. And then comes the listing location map. And again, this is an interactive map, just like it is for you as it is for them. They can make it bigger, they can make it smaller. When they click on a particular property, another little window is going to come open, and it's going to have all of the information that's available on the MLS for that property. This is a great tool to say, so what do you think? Do you think your house is the same as, a little worse than, or about the same? Because you'll be able to walk them into that ideal price that you believe it needs to be. And here's the proof. Most sellers, if not every seller, knows what's sold in their market. They have an idea whether they tell you have an idea or not. This is the affirmation of why you're going to walk, or how you're going to walk them into the price that is right, so that they can get the best possible price at the shortest amount of time. The fourth page is going to be the listing overview. And again, this is nothing more than the curb appeal. And curb appeal can be a lot. We all know that. It's why it's easier to sell a house in the spring and the summer when the lawns are looking pretty. When there's snow packed up on either side of the sidewalk, sometimes it's not as easy because curb appeal's hidden. And then you're going to get a side-by-side comparison, which is it kind of comes out just like what the appraisal looks like. And then again, you can scroll through and see all of the information that's there. You can actually edit what you want to have there. I'm going to show you how to do that too. Status comparison page. Again, it compares, it has the active together, has the parent, the pending, then it goes to the sold. And again, days on market, percent of list, and all that good stuff. It shares all kinds of great information that you can talk to. It's interesting that that's 6 to 12 and that was 7 to 13. Think they used from different reports or what? I know you didn't catch that, but I did. That's just me. Then you're going to get to the listing averages. Then you're going to get to price and size. Now, a lot of agents, they look at this report and it confuses them. It really ought not. All you have to do is look at the trend line. Yes, the green at the top there is for active, then gold is pending and red is sold. But all that trend line is telling you is that the price goes up as the days on market go up. Actually, this is size, so this is square footage. The price is going up based on square footage. And it says days on market down there, which is, again, wrong. I love it. Again, I did not make these slides. I simply got them from the brand. So when I laugh, I pointed out, I'm laughing because it tells me it stays on market, but at the top, it tells me it is price and size. That's funny. Good stuff. So whoops is also price and size. Come on, 1,000 days. Oh my goodness. They really goofed up. I love this. I'll have to get this fixed. Anyways, all this trend line is saying is, again, because it's going downward, the longer the home stays on the market, the lower the price is going to be. Again, over the last couple of years, we may not have experienced that, but as we come back to a normal market, it's going to become more true. Then you're going to come to the pricing analysis page. You get to decide whether you're going to give them a range, you give them a price, or you're going to leave it blank. You get to decide. You get to decide what information you want to give to them. If you haven't noticed, I keep going back and forth between C21 and Coldwell Banker, because really what I'm demonstrating, folks, is it doesn't matter which brand you're going with, it looks the same. Okay. this is your bio that you have to give to your admin. That website you have to give to your admin, that email, that phone number. All of that needs to go to your admin. So here we are, MoxiPresent homepage. We're going to actually go and build a presentation. Now, before I get too carried away, where is Dash? Dash is, that was a question that came to me. Dash is at my CB desk, but you have very little as an agent. You have very little input to what you can do with Dash. Give it to your admin to do. Because it's easier. One of the things I did just put into the chat is the presentation that I'm doing, only I left it the way the brand presented it. So there's one there for the C21 folks. If you click on it, you'll be able to download it right from the Google Drive. And for the CB folks, you have just the CB one. You can download that from the Google Drive. So you have this at your fingertips that you can walk through when you create your presentation. Okay. That all said, we're going to create new. There we go. And we're going to start with seller. We're going to click on that. Then we're going to click on continue. Then we're going to choose the default seller. Each and every time, start with a default seller if you're going to use the old marketing plan. Currently, there's more than one marketing plan. If you're going to use the one that's been there since when we first adopted MoxiPresent, you have to start with a default seller, because then you're going to go, I add the marketing pages. If you're going to use one of the new ones, whether it be Fine Homes and Estates, Global Luxury, and or simply the new classic, then it already has the default seller, or the CMA pages are already a part of it. So those are a little bit bigger by design, because I basically integrated the default seller because I had more than one conversation with agents where they went through and they did all the work for the CMA, but it wasn't coming through. All they had was marketing pages. And the only way I could fix that was put the two together. Unfortunately, I can't do that for the old one. I could only do it going forward. Anyways, pick a template, give it a name, make sure your MLS is connected. And again, if your MLS doesn't show up here, folks, you need to get with your admin, because they need to make sure that your MLS is identified along with your whatever you use to log into the MLS. Because again, that varies depending on the MLS. And then you're going to, the easiest way to do this, folks, is up there just underneath where it says copy data from MLS number optional. If you copy an MLS number and paste it in there because the property had been on the market before, it's going to go ahead and populate everything when you click on that blue button that says copy. Now, be sure you're using the MLS number for the MLS that you have. And I say that because, again, each MLS that we use, the beginning numbers identify the MLS, where the last few numbers are specific to the MLS number from the original. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing. Now, if the property's never been on the market and or all of the data that you want isn't readily available, you can add it. You can add in the community, the subdivision, MLS area, and all the other things that may or may not already be included on the MLS. We have some lazy agents out there. None of them work for us, but we do have some in all those other companies. Anyways, if you're fortunate enough to have it on the MLS, when you do, it's going to go out there and grab the snapshot. The map is going to be automatic, and it's dialed right in. And again, that map is interactive. You can make it bigger, smaller, and all kinds of fun stuff. Simply go through, add all the information that you think is pertinent or necessary as a part of your listing presentation and or pre-listing presentation. Then you're going to go all the way down the bottom of the page. You're going to click continue, and it's going to bring you to this page where now, based on distance, it's going to identify pending, sold, inactive properties. It'll also have canceled properties. Okay, it'll have unconditional and everything else depending on what your MLS has. So the beauty of this is, folks, is again, it's automatically sorted by distance. Now you can look there where you can play with this map based on schools. You can draw your polygon or your rectangle or your square. You can do a radius. You could do whatever process you're comfortable with or been taught, because it works just like it does on the MLS. The one thing it doesn't point out is, again, there's your draw feature, and schools was above that. One of the things it doesn't point out is where it does say sort and distance right there next to schools. When you click on that sort and distance, you can actually sort it. You can sort it by price. You can sort it by days on market. You can sort it by status. So you have some additional options to sort. Right now it's telling us that we got 51 listings. If that's more than you want, then draw into the map. Hit the plus sign so it gets bigger. If you want to see more listings because you're not getting enough, then you hit the minus and go higher. Once you have the properties that you like, all you have to do is click on the image and it will automatically add it to your presentation. If you want to get the details more about that property, make sure that it's good for what you're doing, click on the details and it brings up this. Lots of good information. Again, all the information that's available on the MLS. I got 9 listings. It's going to actually keep count so you can know what you've actually selected. If you only have 6 and you're good, cool. If you need more, do it until you got it. All right. Now we're into the display order, and you see it's ordered by high to low. Now the nice thing about this is you can actually have 2 forms of sort. If you like it by high to low, you can do that. But that little plus sign will give you the ability to sort it by, again, days on market. You can sort it by square footage. You can sort it by low to high, status, and everything else. And again, you can switch up because the same filters are available on either side. You just have to add the extra sort if you want it. Also, I want to point out is that add custom listing up there above that box that says listing summary. If you had a FSBO, you know what? You're looking at knocking on that FSBO's door and letting them know just how much more you can do for them in the way of marketing, get their property sold for them. So you could actually add that custom listing if you didn't actually use it as your subject property and add it in there. And or does that FSBO figure into what is happening in that market? And there's going to be some of us that are going to argue that a FSBO does, and there's going to be some of us that argue no, because they don't even know what they're talking about. I'm going to leave it there. If you don't like the listings that you picked, all you have to do is click on the little brown X and it will remove it. Say bye-bye. If you want to, because you removed a couple, then you can go back a page and add a couple more listings. Because they're at the top where right now it says listings 5. Well, you could click on subject property and go back where you started. You go back to search, which is where you first started to decide by radius or by schools or by whatever criteria is there. Estimate, we're going to talk about that one in just a moment. And then pages when you're all said and done. But those are literally tabs that you can go back and forth through. So add the custom listing, add an adjustment. Maybe this particular house has a pool and the other homes don't. Well, if all the other criteria of the home is applicable, but it's got a pool, then add it. Or let's say all of the homes have a pool except for this one. Or all the properties are on the waterfront, but this one. Or all of them are off the waterfront, but this one. You understand what I'm saying? You have a lot of things that you can do. Again, talked about remove, talked about estimate. This is one that most agents just overlook. When you're on the listings and you do everything that you're going to do, then you actually click on estimate. If you go all the way down to the bottom and hit continue, you're going to not see it, okay? Because this is what happens is we come to this page and you can see where it's giving you an estimated market value. Now you can click on that button below it says create range and put in a range instead of give them an estimated market value. It will not change that number to the left and where it says pricing stats, that's going to stay firm, okay? But again, I would encourage you to give them a range or don't give them this page at all. But you notice that it says estimated pricing and it also says estimated net proceeds. Those are two separate tabs. Okay. Oop. There. When you click on the estimated net proceeds, I don't know why it went to that thing up there anyways. When you click on estimated proceeds, this is what's going to come up. And again, you can put in all the information that you want to know that, okay, you can also put in multiple estimated proceeds. So you could do one for the price you believe it ought to be. You could do one for, if you put in a range, you could put one at the higher end, one at the lower end. You can cover all your bases so that you could talk to it. Now here's my educational point on estimating the property. Again, it is nothing more than an estimate. If you want to not, if you don't want to put anything dealing with pricing in your presentation, and you want to simply talk about it based on the pictures and everything else that you saw earlier, more power to you. But I want you to understand one thing if you don't, and that is, if I am Mr. Seller and I say, I need to make at least $400,000 on this in order for me to be able to sell. What do I need to sell the house for? Anybody got an idea? I mean, duh, I don't know. I could make this easier. I need to get $100,000 for this property in order for me to be able to walk away, where I don't have to bring any money to the table. Okay, so if I can't answer that quickly, then maybe I want to share some of this closing cost information. Or I could base it on an 8% calculation, quick little math in the head and say, okay, we need to at least list this house for $108,000. All the closing talks, I'm talking about taxes, I'm talking about title, I'm talking about commission, I'm talking about all those things. And again, it may vary a little bit for a high tax area, but I found it to be very consistent, very good, because it's usually less, far less. It's a little bit more than 7%. So when I say 8%, and I calculated just quickly, I look pretty smart because I did it quickly. But the other piece is they're actually going to net more, so they're happy with me. Or if I told them 7%, knowing that it's a little bit more than 7%, they won't be as happy with me because they didn't get as much. So always go, the minister in me says, go high. All right, so we're all done, literally. If you take all of my conversation, we're literally all done, okay? I'm 30 minutes in, and I've explained everything along the way. The cover page, so here we are. The cover page, you can actually edit the amount of information that is on that cover page. See that little pencil That's over there where it says covered page, got the red arrow and then a little pencil, and then it's got a little circle with an X. If you didn't want it, you can click on the X and make it go away. Or you click on the pencil and you can edit what it says there. Or you can be happy with it. Every single page can be edited except the property summary page. The property summary page is the only one that you would have to click on the subject property at the top and go back to the initial page. So if you wanted to make any changes to your subject property, you can't do it here. You have to click on that subject property at the top. Once you make those changes, if it didn't change what you chose for comparables and the other things, once you make the changes on subject property, you can go ahead, click on pages and come right back to here. You can also change the order that these pages are. If you want your cover page to be the last thing, doesn't make sense, I know, but what the hey, you could actually left click that and drag it down. If you did not include the seller net, that estimate sheet, I'd encourage you to click at the X and get rid of it. If you haven't given your bio to your admin, you're going to have a blank page for agent profile. Now, that don't make much sense, does it? All right, moving on. So here we are. We have the cover page, right? So agent profile, maybe I want to move that up because I want them to know who they're working with. So I'm going to left click it and I'm going to drag it up. See how easy that was? Easy peasy. Now the second page is all about me or all about you. Starting a presentation. Everybody says, well, wait a minute. We didn't finish that. Well, actually we did. Because once we moved that page up, we were happy with it. We're ready to send it up to Mr. and Mrs. Seller. So we're going to go out and create another one. Wait, but I want more. Yeah, but I want to talk to you about buyer tour. Now, again, some of you are using showing time to do this. Cool. I'm good with that. Some of you aren't doing anything other than maybe printing an MLS sheet or, whatever. The nice thing about doing it on the buyer tour using Moxie, again, as you're showing these homes here, there, and everywhere, of course, you can always pick it up on your telephone, but since you send it to your client ahead of time, oh my goodness, guess what? They can also pull it up. And I don't know about you, but after I've been in 3 or 4 houses, I don't always remember what's what. I'm just, my memory ain't what it used to be. So I like to have something I can come back to and say, oh yeah, that was the property that had, okay. Default buyer tour, continue. Demo buyer, got to give it a name, got to make sure your MLS is there. Now, here's the cool thing. You see that Intrix drive time optional? You can actually include the drive time. So when you're sitting there figuring out, I don't know how you do it. I remember sitting down with Google and stuff and figuring, okay, here's where I got to go from here to there. And it takes X amount of time. Yada, yada. This does it all for me. Again, makes it easy. I'm all for easy. Once you put in the information again, it's going to grab the images for the property or properties. It's going to be just like you went through for the seller side presentation. Now you're going to pick the properties that you want to go see. Again, you can do just like you did before. You want to draw a radius, you want to draw a circle, but you know what? Our buyers never do that, do they? They pick one on this end of the county, one on that end of the county. Oh, let's stop in this city over here because I really don't know where I want to live yet. I just want to go look at properties. That's why I always turn mine into, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's kind of have some food and share ideas. However you're going to do it. Again, this is what they want to be around this park. And the cool thing about it, they want to be around this park and or let's say I work at such and such a place and I want to be within 30 minutes of it. This will figure it out for you. Now, I don't know how that's hard to beat, folks. Because it's smart enough, it takes into account traffic. Now, does it take into account 5 o'clock traffic on the M24 through Oxford? I don't know. Might be a little off, but it's not as bad as LA. You draw your radius, you're going to click on run search, and it's going to return your listing opportunities. Again, I'm not going to be showing them anything that's sold. I'm not going to, the nice thing is I can talk about price, because as I'm showing them the properties that are active, it's important that they and I know what properties are selling for in that area. So we know where we want to come in at price. Okay. Again, you want to, right now, 49 listings are a lot, even though you see some of those are duplicates. But if you want to come in with just a minimum and maximum price, again, this is huge when you really stop and think about it, because there are some areas, especially in Southeast Michigan, where you can have $400 and $500 or more properties right here. And if I go a couple blocks that way or half a mile, now I'm talking $100,000, $150,000 homes. And we have a lot of areas in the Southeast portion of Michigan where we work. So it might be advantageous. We might want to do it based on bed and bath. Maybe I want all the 3 bedrooms that are available. I can do this on the MLS, or I can do it here. Now, again, the point being, I can share from the MLS, and I won't have everything available unless I print it out. Or I create it in here. Again, I know that they opened it or they didn't open it. Duh. Filters. Single family homes, garage, new construction, virtual tour, pool, senior community, luxury. Well, maybe I just want condos or townhouses or manufactured. Again, you got all the criteria that you can do on the MLS. And here's one cool thing that I really like about it is when you put in a property, the square footage typically will automatically be put in there. They'll put a high and a low in there for you. You can change it, but it's automatically in there, which helps with your CMA. So again, if you're not getting everything that you need to make your CMA come together, remember that you might want to come in and look in your filters for what got preloaded for you. And you might want to change some of those parameters. Again, once you've selected everything you want, got a total of listings, 4 listings that we're going to show, and you just hit the continue button, and here you go. And you can see where right now on the map, number 2 comes above number 1, the number 3 and 4 is over here. Well, that's not a good use of time. It may not be. Again, I remember sitting down and saying, okay, this is how I want my rotation to be. So this is the way I'm going to request for appointments, right? I can change the order by just clicking on that button. And when I do that, I can drag it up and drag it down. So when I get done, I save it. And now look, I start at the top with number 1, slide down to number 2, catch number 3 on the way to number 4. And again, remember we did this based on drive time. So it's actually going to tell you the time to get from one place to the next. Makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to figure out, what do I want to request my appointments for? Cover page. Again, you have the ability to edit it, add a page. See that? Create new, build a page. This is, I'm going to go through this quickly because this is literally what I'm going to be doing next month. Okay, in February, I'm going to show you how to build a page using the tools here. I'm also going to, there's a lot of different things I'm going to show you to help you personalize. One thing we're going to do here is we're going to show you how to do a YouTube. Okay, so this one over here is a big one. You're going to create it. We're going to select video. We're going to go out to YouTube. See that down there at the bottom where it says share. We're going to click on it. And then we're going to copy. Now, this is what's different from the website. On the website, I showed you where you need to go over there and click on the word embed and then on the next screen that comes up, click on the word copy. But when you're in MoxiPresent, you're using the YouTube URL, which is what we're used to. Big difference. Okay. And here's the point. If you copy the URL and put it into MoxiPresent or in Moxie website, you'll be able to see it when you're in edit mode. But when you go to your page, you won't see the video and you'll wonder why. Where's that video? What happened to it? I can see it right here. Well, that's because on the website you have to embed, and on present you have to hit copy for the URL. Here's another neat cool thing. The program is so intuitive that it knows that when you go to print this out as a PDF, it will omit this page altogether. So you don't end up with a blank page because it knows it was a video. It's not going to give you a distorted image or a black page or anything else. It's just going to be omitted. And that again makes you look pretty smart. Once you copy the URL, it's as hard as pasting it right there. Again, you can use, as you can see, YouTube, Vimeo in daily motion. I have no idea what daily motion is. I know what the other two are. You paste it in there. At the bottom, you're going to click on add, and look at that. Oh my goodness. And again, folks, this might be something as simple as, hey, I'm really looking forward to the opportunity tonight to show you the homes of your choosing. And, you know, whatever. This could be your YouTube, or like they did here, they found a video on this community and they decided to include it. Cool. For reloads, that could be almost priceless, where you just kind of do a drive through the town and give them an idea of some of the highlights. And when you're thinking about highlights, always remember the ice cream shops, the places to eat pizza and ice cream. Okay. I'm just saying, donuts too. You're going to give it a name. And the reason why you're going to give it a name is because once you create a custom page, it will be in your library. So we're going to entitle it, we're going to save it, and now it's a part of our presentation. Once I've done that, then I have to just click on the X so that I come back to here. And you see it's the second page. If I don't want it there, all I got to do is left click it and drag it to where I want. But I don't know, it looks pretty good right there. Again, even if it's nothing more than an invitation saying, I'm looking forward to meeting with you tonight. Trying to separate yourself. Didn't have that person sign that agency agreement or that buyer's contract just yet. Hey, I got your buyer's contract so you can sign tonight. We all do it differently. So here we are. We're back to these three little dots. Now, if you remember from earlier, those three little dots gave us this little thing. So again, you can email it from right within the presentation. Let me go backwards. See up there at the top, going across, right-hand side, you got more, you got settings, you got send, and you got view. If you click on view, it's going to go, it give you a choice between web or PDF. Send is going to it will open up a window where you can actually type in your client's name. And then, of course, you get to pick whether or not you want to send them a PDF in addition to the web version, because it looks just like this. Again, little greeting. Hi there. And this is what it looks like on their phone. Again, if you haven't done this yet, create a presentation to send it to yourself. Okay. View, buyer, tour, directions. Are you kidding me? Oh, did I forget to mention that you can also include where they're coming from? Whether they're coming from work, whether they're coming from their home. Wow. Again, presentation ready to scroll. And then it literally, folks, it is so cool because there it is. And now we're on the move, right? Now we're at the property and I can actually make notes to myself. If they make notes, guess what? You get the notes. So you know what they're thinking, even if you don't. This works really well for guys because we don't know how to read women's minds. Women know what we're thinking without much effort. Just saying. As we continue on, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we're looking for. Thank you for finding it. I can't wait. Save. Ooh, ooh. I'm a happy camper. We showed them property. Yay! And then, see, just like this, you're going to come back into your presentation. See, it's got one review. And you notice they didn't put a review on any of the other ones. How cool is that? Whew. Let me see. Where am I at? Wrapping it up. Oh my goodness, we're almost ready for. So what are other agents saying? We don't care. Why Moxie works? This is huge, folks. Moxie Works has been around. If you haven't already heard me say, Moxie Works has been around for over 10 years. It started out with a brokerage out in California who worked with a software engineer, yada, 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 and developed this program and continues to enhance it. Agents and teams who use MoxiPresent earn $25,000 more. They earn 1.25 more. They had 1.2 times more buy sides and 1.3 more list sides. If there's anybody in my audience that doesn't want to make 25 grand more this year, let me know and I will be happy to service your clients and give you a 25% referral fee. I'm just saying. Okay. Next steps. Getting started checklist. In other words, folks, there's all kinds of learning opportunities, okay? And quick reference, just go on C21 University. Also, support.moxieworks.com has got all kinds of videos and everything else too. But everything is self-paced. Do it at your own speed. Instead of watching that stupid soap or that reality TV, who cares about the people on an island? Educate yourself. All right. What type of a course do you want? It works well on both sides, but we're to my favorite part. What are your questions? Unmute yourself.
I got one question for you, Bob.
Shoot.
So we need to set up our own personal templates.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, start with the default seller and then go to add a page. Instead of doing the create new, go to add from library, and you will have the ability to add from the brokerage and or the brand itself. And once you have that, you can continue to duplicate it, make it a template, make it easy for yourself. It's a one.
So we're just, so like say for myself, I would just put my name as far as the title of the template, you think, or?
Well, again, if let's say we do it just like they did, demo buyer or demo seller.
Okay, yeah,
So
do
they
it like
know
that,
it's your
okay.
template, or entitle it seller template.
Yeah, seller template, okay.
Bob, I have a question. David here.
Sure.
You've made several references to them, to the client using their cell phone, or you're using your cell phone, or I assume tablet.
Yes.
Are we able to seamlessly use a tablet, for instance, an iPad, for all of the setups, or is it preferable to use a computer so you don't miss some of the setups? In other words, are they, like compatible? I've noticed sometimes there are issues with using tablets. Not with this particularly, but with some, software setups.
Originally, I did everything on my iPad. And I did that purposely because of the very thing that you're saying. We had something that was similar, and it was really awkward when it came to actually doing the presentation. And so when I got the opportunity with this one, I purposely, intentionally did it on my tablet first, and then I did it on the computer. Because for me, it's easier for me to carry a tablet.
Mm-hmm. No, I appreciate that. And I'm also assuming that there's no discussion threads that give any indication that there's a problem.
No. And literally every single week I'm involved at a variety of different levels, dealing with issues. MoxiPresent is not one of them. Not as far as people coming back and saying, well, it didn't work the way it was supposed to.
Thank you.
Question, Bob. It's Brenda. Can you hear me?
Now, if you don't know, as I said, I put the links up in the chat. If you don't want to do that right now, at the bottom of the chat, if you click on chat in the bottom right-hand corner, 3 little dots, when you click on that, you can save the chat. And so you'll have it. Same division where the home is located, not included in the comps that the system provides. Okay. Because of the way Moxie and the MLSs work, sometimes you're going to know it. In other words, you went through the MLS and you put together your criteria initially, because most of us, that's what we're comfortable with. And then you notice when you went into MoxiPresent that not all of those may have necessarily populated correctly. If that's the case, that's why that add custom feature or custom property is there. It's there because of the way the feeds work. While we could, and that's where the issue is, to go to David's question. I spend more time working on issues between Dash and Moxie and the MLS and Moxie more than any other problems I have across the board. And I'm talking all the tools. It's Dash and Moxie and MLS and Moxie. And the reason is because of the variables. I mean, I can't imagine if we have 8 just in our company, I can only imagine what the brand has, if not thousands, right? I mean, I love that. I'm thinking about moving to North Carolina because I understand that they have one MLS for the entire state, and they all use the very same documents for the entire state. Now, like I said, I like easy. All right, folks, got 3 minutes. I can give you 3 minutes back, or I can say goodbye. Go forth, talk to people, make money.
Brenda, did
You're
you
good,
have?
Bob.
I have another question. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so Bob, if I want to add additional properties directly from Realcom, is there some way that I can put in more than one MLS number at a time to populate those homes into my CMA?
No, what you would do, Brenda, is when you're on the listing portion, you click on add custom listing. What will happen is it will give you a subject property page. So if you copy the MLS number that you have, put it in, paste it into the box, click copy, go down to the bottom, hit continue, it'll take you back to the listing page. Then you can add custom property again, copy the next MLS number, hit the word copy, go down to the bottom, hit continue. So you could literally add several properties very quickly, but you could not do all 3 properties at the same time if they're not there.
Okay.
And again, when you have those issues, it is helpful to me if you would share the MLS numbers that your MLS showed, but Moxie did not. Just give me the numbers. That's all I need.
Okay.
Because that is, I literally turn in a list each and every week, trying to get through the issues.
Thank you.
And that's true for any of the Moxie. If you go to support.moxieworks.com and submit a trouble ticket, when you get that ticket number, share it with me. Because if it stays open longer than a week, I get it escalated.
Come on.
I'm a pain. I am truly a pain. I'm a tenacious person on behalf of you. I get to be the bad guy and I like it.
That's
All right.
a long time to have a ticket open. If you're trying to do a CMA for somebody that you need to send within a day or two, it takes them maybe a week to get back to you.
Well, and that's why I tell you, and again, oftentimes if I'm not teaching and you call, I will always answer your call. But if you send me an email or a text and you have a point, I never go to bed without everything get responded to. That's just me. That's why I am. That's what I'm cut from. I apologize. I can't always be, right there, but when I can, I will be. All right. I'm going to say peace out. Till next time.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Hope to
Bob.
see you all in February.
Thank
Okay.
you. Have a good day.